I was all ready to come on here and say Allons-y Coyotes, which is let's go Yotes in French, but it was the French that stole that opportunity from me. Welcome into the PHNX Coyotes postgame show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcast, leave a 5-star review. I'm Shawn DePaz.
See, I did that once too.
She has it written there. I don't know. I'm like Anchorman. I just read what's written for me. I'm Shawn DePaz, joined by the one and only Steve Peters. Obviously, Craig Morgan will be joining us later from Mullett Arena. Arizona Coyotes fall 3-2 to the Montreal Canadiens in overtime. Petey, initial reactions?
Yeah, you know what? You look at this Coyotes team tonight, and this is the first time that you felt after the first period that this Coyotes team actually dominated the team.
Yeah.
Like they outshot, they outskated, they had the puck more off an offensive zone time. Everything was in their favor, so of course they're going to lose this game. Yeah. And it just felt like things were going their way, and you go, well, Montreal's going to wake up. I think Montreal's third period, they finally started to come on. But I think overall, for 60 minutes, the Coyotes were really good. And you started to say, hey, maybe this Mullett magic thing is real. Maybe they are just better at home. Maybe they do have a home ice advantage. They don't look like a team that's fighting for 31st or 32nd right now. And I know, I guess that's a good thing, I guess. And we sit there and talk about the rebuild all the time and the Fantilli and Bedard. The reality is this team, they're not going to finish last. Yeah, I just don't see it. They compete too hard. They have too many guys pulling on the rope, and when you have everybody playing together, it's too hard to lose.
Yeah. So
they get a point out of tonight. I thought that they played good enough to get 2, but I think it was a really good game for the Coyotes tonight.
Hello to all the other Liam Merrills in the chat. Let's not waste any time. Let's get right into by the numbers, because there's a pretty important one. Obviously, outside of the score, the Coyotes outshot the Canadiens 39-26, just the third time this year that they have outshot their opponents. And interestingly, they are 1-1-1 in those 3 games. A win over the Rangers and a loss over the Islanders, I believe, earlier in the year. Both teams went 0-for-2 on the power play. Canadiens won in the face-off circle. And another big number, 64-48 on the shot attempts. Coyotes were putting pucks on net, as Tyson Nash would say. But it did not pan out in the score column. What sticks out to you here, Petey?
Yeah, a couple things. And we talk a lot about shots, and I know I really harped on this team over the last 2 games about them not taking shots, passing up shot attempts. I think there were times tonight where they passed up shot attempts, and they still get 39. And maybe I'm just wrong, because this is the 4th time this team has shot more than 30 shots on goal.
Yeah.
4 times this season. 4 times more than 30. They didn't win any of them. Yeah. So maybe I'm just wrong. And I know you talked about outshooting the opponent, which now they've done 3 times. On those other games where they shot 30, their opponents shot more. That's why it's not their different stats. But they did everything right tonight.
Yeah.
And with the power play, and I thought the power play, especially in the first period, I thought the power play had really good looks. I thought they shot the puck a lot.
Yes.
And we talked about, having a net front presence. I really felt that they were going to get one on the power play tonight. And I thought the power play was really buzzing. And they just ran out of gas in the third. Yeah. I don't know, maybe just like I did, ran out of gas in the third because it's so goddamn late.
And in those comfy chairs, I was ready to take a nap.
The more furniture chairs are killing me after 11 o'clock. And maybe that's what happened to this team, because the third period was a different period. And we look at the shots on goal in the third period after they were 17-16, 6 in the third. So it really fell off in the third. But I think that's a credit partly to Montreal, too. I thought Montreal came with a little push in the third. Montreal's got some good offensive players. I mean, it's not a pushover team. And these are 2 teams that last year were 31st and 32nd and battling it out till the last day of the year. They're both better than that now, and I think that showed. So I think Coyotes have to be happy with their effort, their offensive output, and their shots on goal. I wish they'd be able to net something on the power play. That's the difference tonight.
Yeah.
They're 0-for-2 on the power play. They get one of those goals, they win in regulation. So that is the difference. But like we say, every single night we come here, it's try to find the positives out of players or the team, and I think there were plenty of things that went positive tonight in individual performances.
Yeah, 100%. You mentioned it. I think the power play was noticeable. I think the special teams in general were pretty good tonight, despite the fact that they did not convert on convert on any of their power plays. I think especially on that first power play, they were in it. They were getting shots on net, which is what we have been asking for from the power play, because a lot of times it just seems like they're kind of passing the puck around. And then, like I said, they kept Montreal from getting on the board on the power play. One of the people that was noticeable initially on the early power play was Nick Ritchie. He ended up kind of going into the boards awkwardly and then leaving on that shift while the rest of his line stayed on the ice. But he did come back in the game, so I don't know. Maybe Craig knows something about that. We'll talk to him later. But Ritchie was noticeable despite the fact that he did not end up scoring.
Yeah, I thought he started the game really well, and I thought he was one of the better players for the Coyotes through the first 10 minutes. I thought he had a little more jump tonight, and I think we've seen him since he came back from sitting out. The coach set him out a few times as a healthy scratch, and I think when he first came back, he wasn't getting a lot of minutes, and he didn't seem like he had that extra push or that extra jump, and I thought today in the first period he did, and I think that was one of his best first periods. Unfortunately, he didn't end up on the score sheet, and he was so close on the power play.
Yeah.
He was playing net front. I know he started playing bumper, which is the middle spot between the hash marks, earlier in the year. Now he's right in front of the net in the crease where Boyd was playing, and I really thought he was going to get one tonight. He was screening the goalie well. He had a chance at a rebound there, so I thought he looked good on the power play for sure. And funny enough, it's one of the things
just
we talked
so happened
about.
to be one of Petey's keys. So why don't we roll right into your keys? Yeah, like we said, one of them was Ritchie to show up on the power play, and he was active, but it ultimately didn't hit. What are the other keys?
Yeah, when we look, I went back and watched the film from the game when they were in Montreal, and they lose 6-2 in that game. Ingram was his first game for the Coyotes. That was part of it, and the Coyotes turned the puck over an insane amount of times in that game, and they gave the game away literally to the Montreal Canadiens there. So they had to maintain the puck better. Clearly, when you look at the shots on goal, they maintained and had puck possession and managed the puck better. So that's definitely a win for them. Off the score sheet, Montreal is bottom 5 in the league for goals for. I mean, they held them to 2 through 3 for the Arizona Coyotes to hold the team to 2 goals. I think that's also a win. And Ritchie, all he needed to do was strike on the power play. We hit all 3 keys and then win the game. So it's definitely a 2-key night and not enough to get them a win through overtime.
Yeah. And you mentioned keeping them off the score sheet. By Vejmelka standards, not a crazy game. 20 saves on 23 shots, or 23 saves on 26 shots. But he did have one big save at one moment. There was the Stetcher turnover, I believe, where he tried to grab it out of the air and he kind of just fumbled it, and then he turned it over. In the second period, Stetcher tried to grab it out of the air, turned it over, and it forced Veggie to make a pretty big save. And he ended up, it ended up being a pretty big deal because it got them to overtime and ultimately got them that 1 point. Was anything noticeable about Vejmelka?
When you look at Veggie, though, and he's so used to making these 40, 50 save nights, and that's when he's on fire.
Yeah.
I think tonight is what you want to see out of your goaltender. He makes the big save on the Stetcher turnover, and he gives you a chance to win. And that's, I think, when you talk about the good goalies in this league, you're not getting the premier goalies aren't making 30, 40 saves a game because you're not getting that many shots. We say that about Vejmelka because of quantity. Today was more about the quality. He made the right saves at the right time. It gave his team a chance to win. You look at the 2 goals, I thought Cole Caulfield was all by himself on that one. And the second one with Dvorak in front of the net, you have absolutely no chance on a tip shot like that.
I mean, even the NHL didn't even know how that puck went in. Because it started with the Dvorak goal.
And who did they give it to first?
Oh, wow, you're doing this to me. Jakai?
Yeah, you got
Jakai,
it.
a.k.a. Wi-Fi, the greatest nickname in all of hockey. Jakai, they credited it to him because he shot it, and they thought it. So, originally he shot it. Yes. They gave the credit to Dvorak because he tipped it in, and then they went back and gave it to Wi-Fi, and then they gave it to Dvorak. So it was a little all over the place there. But
I will say this, and I know we're getting aside from the game, but when you look at Jakai, and you look at how he spells his name, and I'm going to look, it's Xhekaj.
Yes.
Okay. So I will say this about hockey. We've had this conversation on the show before. Hockey players aren't extremely original when it comes to nicknames. It's the ER or the Y, donor. They change add a Y to a guy's name, Schmaltzy, Kells. It's not real creative. Montreal Canadiens call this guy Wi-Fi because his last name looks like a Wi-Fi password.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I just don't think anyone knew how to pronounce it, so they're like, there's just a bunch of letters there. We're going to call him Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, love it.
It is, at least in hockey, my favorite nickname.
Yeah, I'm all about it. So we'll call Wi-Fi from now on, but now they're done with the Canadiens, so we'll have to wait till next year.
Yeah, all about it. 2 goals from the Coyotes. First coming from Nick Schmaltz, assist from Clayton Keller. I'm going to talk a little bit more when Craig gets here about a relatively impressive milestone for Clayton Keller here early in the season. But Nick Schmaltz scored the goal. It was an interesting moment because a lot of the Canadiens fans or Canadiens players kind of stopped playing because they were looking for a penalty. It's kind of walk me through that, yeah.
But it's a weird play. So the puck turns over in the neutral zone, and now it's a 3-on-3. And Schmaltz is driving the middle. Keller's on the right side, outside the dots. Schmaltz going through the middle of the ice, and he takes the defenseman's stick, and he doesn't slash it. He just gives it a little tug. And when he gives it a little tug, Gooley loses his stick. It. And so both Gooley and the defenseman put their hands up like, hey, ref, why don't you make a call here? And when they do this to go, hey, penalty, they leave Schmaltz all alone. Schmaltz shoots and scores. So a couple things. One, you're not the referee. Don't put your hands in the air. Play. Yeah. Keep playing. Secondly, hold on to your stick. Like, that's not a penalty. You didn't hold on to your stick. If he slashes it, that's one thing. He gives it a little tug. And all Schmaltz is trying to do is create a passing lane for Keller to get him the puck. So he's trying to remove his stick from the lane. He's not trying to make the player lose his stick. So for me, there's no penalty on that play. And all it did is leave Schmaltz wide open in the slot. And that's a heck of a shot to beat Montembeault and puts the Coyotes up. That was a really good shot. So Schmaltz is heating up. And Schmaltz and Keller together are finding the same chemistry they had last year. Before, you look at all the injuries both of them had to deal with last year. But right now they're heating up. And that line, if those two can stay hot and they can produce offense, Coyotes can stay in games.
Yeah. And then the second goal from the one and only Matthias McCalder. Matthias McCalder, his third of the year. He's now still in second in the rookies points race behind Matty Beniers, who I'm going to see once I go to Buffalo. He's going to be playing the Buffalo Sabres, but that's neither here nor there. Matthias McCalder, though, third goal of the season. I believe his 22nd point of the year. I don't know if NHL has been updated yet, but either his 21st or 22nd point of the year. What did you see from him?
Maccelli, we saw him play last year down in Tucson. High-end skill, helps people around him become better because he distributes the puck so well. Mm-hmm. And what we've seen here this year is the same thing. Unbelievable passer. He makes passes through guys. He's a distributor on the power play. Great plays, but we just wanted him to shoot more because we think he's got that in him. Well, today he gets the break away from the blue line and fights off the Montreal defenseman, and a great goal against Montembeault. And I tell you what, the kid can play. Yeah. I mean, he's got that offensive spark. Inside the blue line, he's dangerous. And that line, too, with Krause and Bjugstad, they can defend. So they play 200 feet. I don't think the coach is worried about putting them over at any situation on the ice. He's really matured from the few games that he got in last year. He's a guy that you can look to provide offense, and not just on the power play, which he has been special on the power play. This 5-on-5 player, he's like he said, you're up in the rookie scoring race from a team that doesn't score a lot of goals. They're not on the score sheet a lot. So if you're a scoring leader on a team like this where you're not scoring, that's a big accomplishment to be included in that conversation 30 games into the season. So we'll see where it goes. I know there's going to be some changes to this team as the trade deadline approaches, but for right now, Maccelli's for real. And he's an offensive guy that's going to start getting noticed around the league a little bit more.
Yeah, very for real. By the way, it is 22 points, so I don't believe the Kraken were active tonight. Let me just confirm.
I'm gonna answer. You do that. I'm gonna talk to Scott White's question here that he just put up, because this we've talked about on the show before, and it's unusual that a coach puts up 11 forwards and 7D, and I know there are times over coaching that you have to because of injuries, and you're short on players up front, so you throw an extra defenseman in, and sometimes the defense will play forward, or you'll sit and a new player comes in like Chychrun. When he came back for his injury, it makes sense to dress 7 in case he can't carry the workload. But over and over again, Andre Tourigny likes to coach 11-7. And what he says is that allows him to put the players that are going, whether it's Keller or Schmaltz or Krause, he allows them to double shift and get more time on the fourth line so he can get his top forwards getting more ice time and providing more offense. I think it's difficult to manage a bench like that because you've seen this team get too many men on the ice penalties over and over again. And part of that is, well, am I up? Am I up? Am I going with them? Am I going with them? And I think it's harder to manage 7 defensemen as well instead of 2 pairs at a time. You've got an odd guy in and an odd guy out. So I think it's harder, but it works.
Yeah.
This team has been successful with it, and it's getting their top players more ice time, and Andre likes to run it that way, so if they can manage it on the bench, I mean, more power to him.
Yeah. And I see people asking for discount Clark Kent. He is on his way up.
How is he not here yet?
I don't know. He seemed like he was getting down there for interviews relatively early, so I'm surprised he's not. But he's on his way. But before,
did he text us?
Yeah, he did text us. He was on his way, so he'll be here soon. But before we do that, we do need to crown our king. And obviously, Schmaltz got on the board tonight. But when you put it in the context of the rookie race, did I confirm? I don't remember if I just said this. Kraken did not play tonight, so Michelli is 2 points behind Matty Beniers in the rookie points race.
There you go.
And that combined with his goal tonight is why Matthias McCalder is our DraftKings king of the game. 1 goal, 2 shots on goal. But really it is him in the context of this rookie race that is what is really impressive to me.
And the other thing too, he's playing over 17 minutes a game. So he's playing a lot, and like we said, he's playing in key situations. He's getting in on the power play. And I know 2 shots on net doesn't seem impressive, but he had 6 attempts. So the puck's on his stick a lot on the offensive zone. So good on Matthias Michelli. And you know what? We'll see. We were talking all summer and into the fall about Dylan Guenther being the guy to lead these rookies, but it's been Matthias Michelli.
Yeah, at least they're wearing the Kachina. I gotta go see if we have odds on him to win the Rookie of the Year yet, or the Calder Calder Trophy.
I know. I thought Leah got him on there. I thought Leah is
probably. I just couldn't remember what it was at.
She takes the night off.
But regardless of what it's at, if you're gonna bet on it, bet on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. And if you want to bet on some basketball, apparently it's okay to bet on the Suns again. Big win tonight.
Oh, wow.
But regardless of whether you're betting on basketball, football, Gaelic hurling, whatever you want, do it in the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Right now, if you download the app and sign up with code PHNX, place a $5 pre-game moneyline bet on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. That's promo code PHNX, only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. I did not win money on this Yotes game because we got the odds?
Yeah.
Plus 2,500.
Plus 2,500, buddy.
I'm sprinting.
Buddy.
I'm sprinting. I'm going to throw some money. I'm going to throw some money from my wins tonight.
If Kenny's right on that,
I mean, he's second in points. Come on.
It's not like it's an actual fantasy. There.
Yeah, no.
But he's the second.
That's wild.
Hammer it, Kenny.
And I think someone pointed it out that I think it was Karen that if he's probably going to get more opportunity. Yeah, Karen pointed out he's probably going to get more opportunity post trade deadline. So
for sure.
I mean,
because Seattle's not making trades.
Yeah,
they're standing pat where they're at. They're a playoff team right now. And they're not trying to tank, so they're not making. Yeah, for sure, he's going to get more ice time.
Just saying, I'm going to throw some of my winnings because I
bet something here.
Yeah, blatantly is taking shots at Buffalo and Western New York. I don't know if you knew this, but Tage Thompson is the greatest player of all time, and he led the Sabres to a win. Him and the greatest goalie of all time, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. At least the greatest goalie name of all time, led the Sabres to a win over the Golden Knights tonight. Won some money, parlayed. Tage anytime goal scorer with Sabres puck line.
That is harsh. DraftKings wide right. That's
hard. The haters don't get me down. The haters.
You were even born then?
I was not. No, I was not. I was not alive. So it doesn't bother me. If I was alive, though,
Fran Tarkington losing the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm sure the people that partook.
Right. Ouch.
Yeah, I'm sure the people that had to live through that had to drown their sorrows in some Four Peaks afterwards.
That's what I would do. Buddy, because my in-laws are coming.
Oh yeah, you stocked up on the Four Peaks.
Stocked up on the Four Peaks. My fridge is full of Four Peaks because they're rolling in the next 48 hours, buddy.
Great move. By the way, I feel like we can all get together on a Vegas Golden Knights loss, right? We should be able to bond over that.
Yes, we should.
Anyways, go get yourself some Four Peaks. And Four Peaks is sponsoring an event that we have coming up. It's our first ever PHNX Tea Party at Dobson Ranch. We're going to have food and drink, merch, contest, prizes. I know we're going to have some vendors out there giving away some merch, giving away some samples. We're going to have a basketball competition. There's going to be a watch party for the Suns, who are good again, against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who I don't think are that good.
Friday,
January 13th at 5:30 p.m.
Garnett still play there?
No, not exactly. It's been a couple years.
Checking.
But yeah, we're gonna have a jumbo screen showing the Suns and Timberwolves. You get unlimited range balls. You can rent clubs. You got mini games, cornhole, pickleball. There'll be heaters. There'll be hot chocolate. There'll be something for everybody. Bring the kids out. Kids 10 and under play free, and there's a free youth clinic. But for the people that are over 10, it is $45 a person. $160 for a foursome, and if you are a diehard, check the Discord for your special app or for your special link for a discounted price. Like it says there, $36 for diehards, $120 for a foursome of diehards. Get out there.
We said it last time though, because it's a little bit of a misnomer.
Yeah, it's not
saying
just a driving range.
Unlimited driving range,
Yeah.
because it's not. It's like we're playing a video game where it keeps score, keeps distance.
It's like it's Top
You
Golf.
can literally play virtual golf.
Yeah, you can play virtual golf. You can play
But if
Angry
you don't know
Birds.
how, there was the one that was Duck Pond or
Yeah, Go Fish. You
Go
just
Fish.
hit it, and it gives you a random fish,
and you get
and
points.
you're fishing. It's
And you
fun.
get points.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as you keep score, you can compete. Whatever your level is, it is a lot of fun.
It's if you've ever been to
Because I don't like
Top
to have
Golf.
fun, right? Like
Yeah,
we've all got through that.
Yeah.
Not much fun. And I went there because we all went there for a staff meeting to Dobson,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm not gonna have fun.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to have fun. It's like a thing. And all of a sudden I saw other people having fun. And I go, maybe I'm gonna have fun too.
Hey.
So I grabbed a couple of clubs and I swung around and I had fun.
It's infectious, and I'm terrible
It
at
is.
golf. So
Well,
I
it
just go
doesn't
out there to
matter.
look good and have
Literally
fun.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, because you swing the ball and it
Yeah.
goes somewhere.
Yeah. Just play Go Fish.
Play Go Fish.
Sorry. Did you see Craig's newest text?
I did not see his newest text. What was
Yeah.
his newest text? He said,
Having major computer issues.
major computer issues.
But I thought I saw
But
it.
I think he may have figured it out.
Did he figure out his computer issues?
I think he's figured it out. I think we are
I thought it was
being
just a
joined.
bullshit excuse. Like Leah took her excuse. I thought
yeah.
Craig was going to bail on us too.
Yeah, but now we are joined by the one and only Craig Morgan, live from Mullett Arena. Craig, how is it going? Is the computer working okay?
Yeah, I had to shut everything down. Everything was frozen.
Oh, boy.
Literally everything was frozen.
I have been there. Craig, just get right into it. Did you talk to anybody tonight?
Yeah, we got Nick Schmaltz and Jakob Chychrun after the game, as well as, of course, Andre Tourigny. And as you can imagine, everybody felt like they deserved a better fate tonight. I mean, that was without question their most dominant offensive performance of the season. Andre said it. The players said it. It's just, it almost felt like they ran into what has happened to them a lot this season.
Yeah.
What has happened to other teams. Vejmelka gets hot and wins them a game. Well, they ran into a hot goaltender tonight because they had just an unbelievable amount of chances, unbelievable amount of zone time, and just couldn't find the net enough.
Yeah, but Mullett, Craig, it's starting to be a real thing, this Mullett magic, because this team looked better. And we talked about this earlier, that when they played Montreal last year, they were playing for last place. That Arizona Coyote team didn't look like a team that's competing for the cellar right now. They possessed the puck. They were skating well. They had offense. Like, this looked like a really good hockey team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. There were so many plays to talk about in this game. The Michelli goal was unbelievable. Yeah. I loved the entirety of that play. Jakob Chychrun backed up twice. Asked him after the game. He said, "Yeah, I just didn't like what I saw, so waited. We got to change." Lawson Krause gets himself available just outside the blue line for a quick touch pass. Michelli gets that speed off the wing. That was a really pretty goal, guys. That was one of the best goals I've seen from this team all season.
And you know what, you talked about a guy that we haven't talked about yet tonight is Jakob Chychrun, and he tonight led out. I think he led all players. Oh no, who had more ice than him? The Ghost had a few more seconds than he did, but he still had over 23 minutes of ice time. He's getting shots. He had 3 shots, 6 attempts. But the thing for me that stood out with Jakob Chychrun tonight was his defending, and I don't know if. Like, we've talked about that more this season than we had the rest of his career, his ability to defend in the defensive zone and read the rush. He's a different player this year. I don't know if it's because he is trying to do things to get out of here. I'm not sure, but he's defending much better. And that play up the middle of the ice, that's a hell of a pass to Krause. But I think it's the defending he's done inside the blue, and that's been impressive to me so far this year.
Yeah, he's been a complete player since he came back. We saw at the end of last season, I remember asking him on breakup day, because he had been off for a while, he'd been injured, and he had bulked up quite a bit. So he's bigger, and I think he's using that to his advantage when defending. It's not, we always talked before about his stick positioning was pretty good, but if he got into battles, it wasn't necessarily going to go his way. He's doing a lot of things well, and besides that, he's damn near a point per game guy now. He's really, really played well. Listen, if Jakob Chychrun wants out, if he still wants out, he's doing literally everything that he can to make that happen.
What was the atmosphere like tonight in the Mullett? Is it still good? And Electric's on TV. It looks good.
Yeah,
and
it looks amazing.
I swear that's giving them an advantage.
Yeah, there are a lot of Montreal fans here tonight, and I'll say that. And that's going to be the case with some of these teams. The Canadiens are a team that tends to travel pretty well, so they had their share, but there was a really good atmosphere. I was a little concerned. I don't know how much we talked about it after the Buffalo game. That was the quietest I've actually heard this arena. There were a few empty seats, and listen, they may be giving some seats away for lower prices at this point, but tonight it was back to what I've seen most of the season here. This was a really good crowd. There was really good atmosphere, and the people that I talked to, like I actually chatted with some Canadiens fans who were in attendance, and you don't want to do this. It's not Centre Bell, obviously. You don't want to do this for your home team every game, but they thought it was a really cool experience.
Yeah. One thing I did want to get to is it's something that you had sent us from Coyotes PR. Clayton Keller became just the 5th Coyote to reach 30 points within his first 30 games since 96-97. Jeremy Roenick did it twice. Keith Tkachuk did it twice. Ladislav Nagy did it twice. And then Shane Doan also did it once. So there's that. And then also, Jakob Chychrun and Nick Schmaltz are both on 5-game home point streaks, the longest by Coyotes this season, which honestly, now that I think about it, a little misleading of a stat because they haven't played a whole lot of home games.
But Clayton Keller keeping pretty good company there. We've been talking about it. A lot of times his points are quiet, but he's still on a point per game pace, which just hasn't happened around here very much. In fact, there's only been one guy over 80 points in Coyotes history, Keith Tkachuk. So Clayton Keller stays on that pace. You mentioned Nick Schmaltz as well. They've been waiting for him to sort of establish that sort of dominance that he had last season when he had the 7-point game, and he was electric down the stretch for them. He hadn't really captured that. He's had some moments in the last few games. He had the 3-assist night the other night. His first period tonight, honestly, it was awful. He was not good at all, but he turned it on after that, and I thought he had an impact in this game again, and they obviously want him to impact the game on the offensive end, and he was doing that tonight.
Craig, we have one thing. The king of the game last game was Barrett Hayton getting his first goal. We talked about him in the first period where he was all over it tonight. I thought for sure he was going to get another one tonight. I think he was noticeable in the offensive zone. He made a pass in the third period that was absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if you could tell it live. They showed it replayed where he pulled it back and put it through the defender's legs. It was an unbelievable pass.
And about that 10-minute mark, he had 3 shots in one possession. He just kept getting the puck back and shooting it. Yeah, he was somebody that I noticed really early in this game.
So I think he took a step forward again, and I think it's starting to come for him.
Yeah, but it's got to go in, right? You don't want to, you get the chances, and if it doesn't go in again, he could be right back. You can see the potential there with Barrett. You wonder if it's ever going to break through.
I don't know, because I will say this. After his Bally's interview with Todd Walsh after the last game, and I was commenting on his beard, I was like, hey, buddy. And he shaved it after he scored. So I'm sure that's one of those things that it was an awful beard. It was not a Lawson Cross beard. Sorry, Barrett Hayton. Great kid, but that was an awful beard. So as soon as he scored, he shaved it, so he looked much, much cleaner tonight. So I'm trying to decide what is it going to take for me to shave my beard? So he scores and shaves his beard. We've got to figure out, maybe when Leah gets back, we'll figure out something. What would the event have to be that I have to shave my beard off for?
5,000 followers, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, hey, do that.
I mean, we got to keep setting something.
We could actually do it live, and Leah, Shawn, and I could actually be the one shaving you with a straight razor.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
Oh boy, howdy.
Craig, I'll do the neck, buddy.
Yeah, you gotta wear it. As long as you wear your glasses, you'll be squinting. I'd be in trouble.
Oh boy.
But no, I think Barrett. That's good. I think it's taken a step forward. You're right. He's going to have to score. He's going to have to break through and get some of those offensive numbers. It doesn't have to be goals. He made that nice pass, but he's going to have to help participate in this offense if people are going to finally, say, okay, he is no longer a bust in the draft, which I don't think he is, but that name tag is going to stick with him until he can start to put up some numbers.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anything else from the game, Craig?
I don't. Maybe you mentioned it before I got here, Petey, since it took me a little extra long to get here tonight. But Nick Bjugstad had 7 shots on goal. It's just everything but go in tonight. He was all over it tonight.
Yeah, and I think again, he's a guy that he just needed to get more opportunities, and I think that's what's happened for him here versus what he had in Minnesota last year. He is trying to contribute to the offense, and he must have listened to our last podcast because I'm sure all the players do on their way home, and I'm sure he must have listened to us talking about shooting the puck more because he clearly took it to heart, and he did. He's another guy that not only is trying to get on the offensive side, but he's also on the power play now, and he wasn't getting that power play time before. He's in the bumper spot that Nick Ritchie held earlier in the year. So I can't imagine he's not going to start getting some more points on the power play as well. So, yeah, fun to watch for Boogie.
Yeah.
Hey, a little alert for you, Petey. I might go write about him tomorrow. So
seriously,
I was about to ask. Are you working on anything for GoPHNX.com?
Yep, I think I'm going to do. I was undecided on what I was going to write up this practice tomorrow. I think I'm going to write about Boogie. Make Petey happy.
Fantastic. I might read one of your articles for a change.
That'd be nice.
Hey, did you see the warm-up jerseys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love those jerseys.
What do you think of that logo?
That logo is terrific.
It's a Christmas logo, buddy.
Do they not need that on T-shirts and stuff?
Yeah, they do, and apparently, according to Espo, those jerseys are pretty expensive. So I probably won't be buying one of those. But
the only thing,
there's some people out there that can afford them, like you, Petey.
What about me?
You can afford it. You can afford it, buddy.
Well, I tell you this. The only thing, and Shawn won't remember this, the only thing remember that nose that he had on? Did it remind you of anything in Coyotes history at all? The carrot nose. Do you remember the puppet, the snowman puppet during the Wayne Gretzky era? Pierre, the French puppet that did the commercials? Pierre, the snowman. Oh my God! It might be the worst marketing campaign in the history of the Arizona Coyotes. They had a puppet that spoke French, and it was a snowman. Pierre the snowman.
Why do we have a French-speaking snowman in Arizona?
I don't know. It made absolutely no sense. And he did commercials with Wayne Gretzky. He was on I swear.
I wonder how Wayne took that. Like, hey, I know you're the greatest hockey player of all time. We need you to get in front of this camera with a French puppet.
It was absolutely awful. I'm sorry if someone who was behind that marketing campaign, but boy, howdy, that was bad. So anyway, that picture reminded me a little bit of that. So a little nostalgia.
All right.
So how are you guys surviving without Leah tonight, by the way?
We didn't even notice.
Yeah. She is up watching.
That's cold, buddy.
She's having a good time. She's watching the greatest hockey team to ever exist with the greatest goal scorer to ever exist. And now the greatest goalie of all time, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. He played out of his mind tonight.
He could have been the king of the game tonight. Shawn tried, but I said no.
I tried for him. Petey tried for Boogie. We got overruled by the almighty, all-powerful
Craig. But
discount.
I will say DP's done a great job today. And, of course, we all miss Leah. I can't wait for her to get back. But she will not be back tomorrow. And apparently you and I are doing this tomorrow by ourselves.
I'm taking the day off, too.
Do you know we have a show again tomorrow? Me and you?
I do. I was trying to push us into past midnight, so
we could count it?
2 shows, yeah.
Yeah, because, again, here's what happens when Leah's not here. Leah does a lot of planning.
She does.
I know Craig works really hard and does the writing thing, but Leah plans.
Yeah, she does.
So we have a show tomorrow, and I don't think Craig and I know, unless he sent me an email I didn't read, I don't think we've really talked about what the hell we're going to talk about tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow. Can't wait for you to tune in tomorrow to the audio-only podcast with Craig and I talking about, I have absolutely no idea. No clue.
Well, I'll figure it out on the ride home.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so do you want to hang...
Yeah, I just was wondering if we have a sponsor yet in Buffalo for the BFLO segment of the show for Shawn Deposits, since it seems to come up every night now.
Buddy, if there was a BFLO, do you think he would leave us?
Probably.
No, I can't leave because who is supposed to be the Buffalo missionary here in Arizona to spread the good word of the 716?
BFLO. What are they going to talk about in BFLO? They have 2 teams. What do you mean? 3 guys work there?
Colleges. There's a professional lacrosse team. Come on. But yeah, I'm not worried about that. Listen, I'm a diehard PHNXer, no matter what. All right, Craig, do you want to hang out so we can get out to midnight, or are you trying to go home?
Well, what are you writing, Craig, and then go home so we can all go home? Are you writing something? Boogie, we talked about. You got anything else coming up?
Yeah, well, there's going to be a holiday mailbag coming up, but I'm also going to write a column about this Coyotes team, but I don't want to give that one away yet. I'm going to be chatting with some people, but I got something coming up. I got a couple things coming up for the holidays.
I have one more thing to talk about, and I know everyone wants to go home, so I'll talk longer about absolutely nothing. You talked about Christmas mailbag. I have a question. So our mail at my house usually comes around, I'll say 1-ish in the afternoon. It's pretty typical. 1, right? Noon to 1. That's when the mail comes. That's when the mail comes to our house. I don't know what the hell the problem is. Maybe it's Christmas. So I have my PHNX t-shirts coming today in the mail. According to an email of this coming today, my mail this last week is not getting till like 7 or 8 at night. Like what's that? Is it just because of the bag? Can the mailman? I'm sure we've got all kinds of mail people out there listening. Can they let me know what's going on? Is it because of the cards and there's more cards and more packages? Is anybody else experiencing this, or is it just me?
I don't get mail.
It can't be just me because
No
there's
one's
a big
me
mailbox with all kinds of people in it.
I don't get mail.
I don't get mail. The only mail I get is from whoever lived in my apartment before me.
Resident.
Yeah.
That's what he gets. He gets resident. Anyway, I had a rant on that because I don't know, and I'm sure their job is extremely difficult this time of year because there's so much more stuff, but I wondered if it was just my neighborhood or if you've noticed.
Glad you're showing a little sympathy for the mail deliverers. Thanks.
No, they are. It's incredible.
The holiday spirit.
How about the Amazon guy? How many boxes he got to deliver right now? Especially with my wife around. It's absolute, UPS truck threw up at our house. It was terrible.
All right. Before Petey starts talking about any more mail.
See, look at Karen.
I couldn't even get the sentence out before you started talking about more mail.
Thank you, Karen.
Get out of here, Craig, before Petey starts ranting about Amazon or something.
Blatantly. Does not have that on his bingo card.
All right, Petey, we'll talk in the morning. We'll figure it out.
Send me a note. I don't know what time we're doing that show. Sometime tomorrow. Send me a text.
All right, buddy.
We'll be up early.
Get home safe, Craig.
See ya.
See ya. All right. Whew.
I know, exactly. Deep breath after getting through that.
Yeah. Well, you're saying that like you're blaming Craig as if you didn't just rant about the USPS.
It is my fault. But again, it's. Are we pushing midnight yet?
We are
pushing
11:30.
No, we're not gonna make it to midnight.
It's tough. It feels later because, like we said earlier, I was ready to fall asleep.
Buddy, what are you? 24?
24.
I go to bed at 9.
I know.
Like legit 9 o'clock on non-Coyote games. 9 o'clock.
I know.
It is not 9 o'clock. I'd be sleeping by now.
Yeah.
I'm buzzing now. Let's go.
I know.
Let's go.
We can calm you back down. You just got to get you in one of those more furniture recliners, and those things are sure to put you to sleep.
I swear, if you need a more furniture recliner, if you can't relax, get a more furniture recliner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we all have them here. We've seen them on the show. If you watch our show regularly, everybody's seen our more furniture recliners. There's 8 of them out there. I am as the night goes on, I just slide lower and lower. Like my head is where your butt should be by the end of the show, and my feet are on the floor. They are unreal.
Yeah, no, I feel like there are times where because I sit in the back row, all I see is your feet kicked up or something like that. They are genuinely like the comfiest recliners I've ever sat in. So if you're interested, go to morefurniture.com. They're doing a holiday clearance event at More Furniture where you could save up to 50% off. If I hadn't already furnished my apartment, that's the one thing I'm kind of upset that I already furnished my apartment with More Furniture because I could have gotten a pretty good deal with this holiday sale. But I missed out. You don't have to. Go to morefurniture.com, get you a recliner, get you some house furniture, whatever you need. Get it from More Furniture. I think I have a little bit extra money to spend on More Furniture too, because I think I have to go check the results, but I think I won a little underdog fantasy draft pregame.
Oh, draft
pregame, yeah, because Shane sent it to me. Well, this is what happened. Shane sent me and Leah a link right before I was about to start producing the Suns game or the Suns pregame show. So I go in there. I have the second pick. He has the first. Shane has the first pick, and it's all of the games tonight.
Okay.
All of the games tonight. But you know me. You know where I'm going with that first overall pick. Tage Thompson. He's way down in the projected points, like way down. There's no reason. No reason. He wasn't even on the opening screen. What does this motherfucker Shane Diefenbach do? He scrolls all the way down and he drafts Tage Thompson on purpose. He invited me to a draft just so he could take Tage Thompson before me. It was unbelievable. But I still think I won. Win or lose, though, you can have some fun in the underdog.
It's easy.
It is so easy. He literally sent me a link. I clicked the link. And I was in the draft. It's wild how easy it is. It's wild how fun it is.
It's not like fantasy where you get stuck for the whole year with a quarterback you don't like or whatever. It's like
right? Because I mean, I'm in a regular fantasy hockey league, not going great. Made some mistakes. I did not draft Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. I did draft Tage Thompson, but I did not draft Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. But if you had drafted him tonight in your daily fantasy underdog, probably made some money because he was unreal. But regardless, whether you want to do the draft, you want to do some pick'em. I won some money the other night on a pick'em. I've got on a roll on the Underdog Fantasy app, on the pick'em, not the drafts. I've been struggling on those. Regardless, download the Underdog Fantasy app. It's easy to get started. Go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app from your app store. Sign up with promo code PHNX, and Underdog will match your first deposit with $100. You deposit $100, they're going to give you another $100, so you can start embarrassing your friends in drafts. Sounds like a lot of fun. All right.
Is Robert Lee, like, he's getting up, he's going to run 5 miles in the morning, 3 miles at night.
Robert, you are a better man than I.
Buddy, and he's retired. Buddy.
How many miles have you run in the last?
I'm a walker,
okay.
First of all, because I got knees and hips that just don't like running. 3 and 5 miles, that's a long way in one day.
Yeah, the longest I walk is from my car to the front door of my apartment.
Buddy, did you see Nick's question?
What's that? Shawn. Please say Ukko's name one more time. It's my favorite name. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
That's unreal.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. UPL, as we like to call him.
And Walking and Talking, I see it blatantly again, talking about Walking and Talking's coming up. I think we got a Walking and Talking by the end of the week.
Yeah.
We're planning for Thursday or Friday for Walking and Talking.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil who you have planned, but I know you do have.
We think we know who it is.
Yeah. Well, you got to stay tuned.
Stay tuned for next Walking and Talking.
Okay, anything else from this game before we kind of wrap up the last
it's
few
again
things?
Where this team just continues to have somebody else show up and be the star. Tonight it was Michelli, and I think this team continues to compete. They get better, and they're really good at home. We just want to keep it exciting and close. They're building on something here, and I know it's a little early. We're not talking playoffs, so all those Canadian fans that are tuned in listening to our show, like I know they do, we're not talking playoffs. We're not saying how great we are right now. We're just saying we're competing, and they're in games right now, and they're in every game. When they beat the Boston Bruins, they're beating good teams. Yeah. So this team competes. They all play together. They're fun to root for. They got guys that are fun to root for. They got guys that are playing together. I think this was another one of those games where I thought they played their best offensively inside the Mullett. Unfortunately, it didn't show up on the scoreboard. Now they got to head into enemy territory and go play the Vegas Golden Knights that are coming off a loss to Buffalo. So that's going to be a little frightening rolling into Vegas. It's a tough building to play in already, and coming off a loss, I don't think that's going to help the Coyotes much. It's going to be a tough week for them, and their schedule only gets tougher.
Yeah, why don't we go into the upcoming schedule? You mentioned this team beating some good teams. If they want to find a win in the next 2 weeks, they're going to have to beat some good teams. Obviously, like you mentioned, Wednesday against Vegas Golden Knights, Friday against the Los Angeles Kings, but next week, oh my.
It's a tough week.
Avalanche on Tuesday at home, Maple Leafs at home on Thursday, and then on the road on New Year's Eve, a 3 p.m. start against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Again,
we talked about geography. First of all, Colorado, and I know they're still a little banged up, so if you're going to get Colorado, get them while they got guys out of the lineup. So that I'm not. They played really well against Colorado last year. They actually won the series. Just saying, the guys at DNVR, if you're listening, they won. Toronto swept them. So, we'll see. They already beat Toronto in Toronto, and I know
Austin Matthews anytime goal scorer, though.
We'll see. Yeah, I would take Austin Matthews anytime. I like that, too. But it's teams that they did really well against last year that are very good, strong playoff teams that are going to compete for a Stanley Cup. And then, guess what? After you get done playing Thursday against the Toronto Maple Leafs, you have to get up early Friday morning to fly
all the way
to Florida. Yep. And, we're not just going to make you play tomorrow. We're going to make you play tomorrow in the daytime.
Yeah, 3 p.m. But that does mean that they will be able to celebrate New Year's Eve in Florida, because their next game after that is the Florida Panthers. So they will be in Florida for a few days, presumably. New Year's Eve in either either
Fort Lauderdale,
Tampa Bay. We'll see. All I'll say is probably hammer the Panthers on that game on the 3rd, I believe. Quick check on the standings. Not a good day for the Yotes as far as the race for Bedard is concerned. The Blue Jackets lost to the Stars. And I think that is the only game that has major
hasn't played since their win, and they're tomorrow at home. They're on the road to LA, so that's not looking good. And Chicago, good Lord. I don't know.
That is couple of bad teams you mentioned there. But
Chicago 7 straight now. The last win was against the Rangers, and then they lose 7 straight after that. That team's struggling right now. They're struggling to get saves. I don't know how Chicago with that goaltending doesn't finish last right now, and it's not their offense. I still think with Athanasiou and Domi and Kane, I still think they can score. They just can't stop the puck.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to come down to Anaheim and Chicago, and I hate to say it, I don't think the Coyotes are going to fall any lower than 30th.
Yeah, it is kind of a tough spot they're in right now. Chicago, 18 points on 30 games played. For the record, the Coyotes have 25 points on 30 games played. Chicago, 18 points on 30 games played. Anaheim, 21 points on 32 games played. So they have 2 games in hand there. And then Columbus, 22 points on 31 games played. Like I said, lost tonight 2-1 to the Dallas Stars. So yeah, it's a little concern. Not really shit in the bed for Bedard as much as I was hoping they would.
Yep.
But I think that's just about it.
I think that's it.
Let's see the punch card because we're making progress. Another loss tonight. Another red star. Oh, Petey.
I don't know. We got our win for the line. So
yeah. But with the way that the Coyotes are and the schedule is, they're probably going to get 3 wins next week. So you'll probably get some. It
is funny because we sit there and bitch about how hard the schedule is next week.
Yeah, those are the games we're going to win.
And they'll probably go 3-0. Because when we went on that 14-game road trip and they started off with Nashville and Carolina, we go, they have no chance on those two, and they win them both.
Yeah.
So never count this team
and
out.
The Mullet's been a hard place to play, like we mentioned, and they have to bring those 2 teams in. Those first 2 teams, the Maple Leafs and the Avalanche and the Maple Leafs at home. So
you never know. In both of their first trips, can you wait? We haven't heard out the Canadian media tonight because Montreal was in town. We'll see it tomorrow on the blowback from this arena sucks and the locker room sucks. So we'll see if we get any of that. We'll get it with the Toronto media rolling in for sure. So we'll see what's ahead. It's going to be a tough road for this team over the next month. 4 games every week next in January. A lot of back-to-backs. It's going to be a tough month.
Yeah, I have fun with that because, like I've mentioned, I am leaving in the beginning of January. I'm going to go home for a little bit.
Good for you.
So you'll get to deal with that. But while I'm home, like I mentioned, I'm going to go see the Buffalo Sabres host the Seattle Kraken. And I'll get to see Matty Benier in person. And obviously, just like Leah got her tickets to the Golden Knights game tonight, I'm going to get my tickets to the Sabres game on the one, the only Game Time ticketing app. Honestly, the best ticketing app I've ever heard. I know they waited until the last second to buy their tickets. Hopefully you waited until the last second to buy tickets to the Suns game tonight if you went, because nobody played in that and they were basically giving tickets away. But it is the best ticketing app. You can save up to 60% on tickets when you buy tickets last minute. The best way to support us is by using the link in our description to buy your tickets. That's what I'm going to do. That's what Leah did tonight, and that's what you should do. I'm excited to go see the Sabres, and I'm excited to see the Kraken in person, honestly. Yeah. I watch the Sabres games a lot, but I'm excited to see Matty Benier in person. Hopefully at that point he's second in the rookie points race.
Matthias McCalder.
Because Matthias McCalder has been putting up points.
We got to get that to stick, Matthias McCalder. I like
Matthias McCalder. Yeah, it's a tremendous nickname. It's going to be even better. Because the thing is we're saying this now. Everyone's going to be saying it when he wins it. Okay. So make sure you give us our credit.
This is the last thing, and I know we're trying to go here because I'm going to keep holding this here. Blatantly said it again. So we've talked about this is going to be a real thing, and people think maybe I'm kidding, but the Scottsdale hangover.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's part of why they've been so good at home.
Have you seen the weather in Toronto right now? Buddy, it ain't this.
I know what the weather is in New York right now, and it's not great.
So if you're sitting in Toronto and all of a sudden you fly here, by the way, the weather next week is going to finally get back into the 70s. It's 70 degrees. It's sunny. You're close to Mill Avenue, and you're a quick Uber from Old Town. Are you sitting in your hotel room getting ready for the game? Hell no.
Probably not. It is 24 degrees in the 6 right now.
That's warm. So it's going to get colder than that. So this is going to be a real thing. It's going to be like the teams went to Vegas that first season. It's something new. It's something interesting. So people went out in Vegas, and Vegas' home record that year was absolutely crazy that first year. That's one of the things that's helping them out at the Mullett. It's a little bit different, and it's a lot easier to access fun.
Yeah. When the Maple Leafs get on the plane next week, it will be
degrees.
A high of 30 and a low of 16 in Toronto.
Yeah.
And it'll be around the 70s here. So they're going to enjoy it, and you should enjoy.
What should they enjoy?
Becoming a diehard. Become a diehard. Get some of the greatest content. A lot of our written content is free, but the best written content from our writers, Craig, Gerald, whoever, is going to be behind the paywall. only for diehards. So become a diehard to get the best stuff. Like we mentioned, you get a discount on some of our events, like the tea party that we talked about earlier. When you become a member, you get a free hat or a free T-shirt.
And not just when you sign up, you get it every year.
Yeah, you get one every
anniversary.
Every year, you can rock the one. You're wearing a PHNX shirt right now too. I almost wore that, so I'm glad we're matching.
And I'm
flannels.
waiting for my diehard jacket.
Yeah.
I know like a leather jacket.
Some of the hoodies finally came in. We have hoodies now, so if you order a hoodie, you get one of those soon.
If you're
a diehard, follow Kenny's lead. Drop a hashtag diehard in the chat. It really is an awesome thing.
Oh, and by the way, they get membership cards, and we.
Oh yeah, and we saw those.
Yeah.
All I'll say is there's some shininess to them. There's a little gold coating on them. It's not.
It'll be the fanciest card in most of the wallets. I won't say everybody.
It'll be the fanciest card in my wallet.
Yeah,
my chipped Bank of America card is not getting it done.
Chris is probably rocking a black card, so I won't say.
I am not.
Yeah.
I am not. So the membership card will be the nicest thing in my card.
So being a diehard.
Yeah, become a diehard. Did I mention this? 20% off merch and events.
I don't know. You did.
If I didn't, you can hammer it home. But yeah, become a diehard today. Check out gophnx.com/diehard to join the fam. And we really are a fam. I was hanging out with Charles the other night. I don't know if he's watching. I was hanging out with Charles. I stream video games sometimes. Him and I were just hanging out. He was watching me play video games. We were having conversations, talking about we're reminiscing over old Coyotes. Remember Galchenyuk? He played here. Yeah. There's a bunch of guys I had just forgotten about. It's a fun time to be.
It is a family. There's no doubt about it.
A part of the fam. Okay. Anything else before we leave?
Karen, we have to come to the show to get updates. Karen, I didn't know the Diehard Jackets are getting their patches on today. Karen, I hope I've got one coming.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna, and I don't have to wear this anymore. I can wear my Diehard jacket.
I don't know where Karen got that information. If I had to guess, it was probably the Discord. You can only get that information on the Discord if you are a diehard. So join us. I didn't even mention the Discord when we were talking about becoming a diehard. It's probably the best perk of it. Anyways, I can go on and on about being a diehard. I have, yeah. Anything else before we get out?
Nope. I'm ready because we got to do this again. I apparently have to do this with Craig tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday night, late again.
In about 12 hours, there will be a second show for you to listen to.
Around the NHL.
Around the NHL. So make sure you check that out. But make sure you follow us on social media. You can follow me at Shawn_to-pause. By the way, this is a little behind the scenes. Whenever Leah gives me my shout out to follow me at Shawn_to-pause, I give her a little salute. I don't really know what to do with my hands now because she's not here. But you can follow me at Shawn_to-pause on Twitter. You can follow Petey at SPetersHockey. You can follow Craig at Craig S. Morgan. And you can follow Leah at Leah Merrill, right? There's no underscore there, right?
No underscore.
Yeah, at Leah Merrill on Twitter. But like Derek would say, or you can follow the show at PHNX Coyotes, but all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter. Ooh.
And let's give one more shout out to David.
David, yeah, of course.
Our producer today, taking over the duties for Shawn. And David, another one, because they're everywhere, another ASU grad.
Yep, doing great things.
And he is leaving us.
Yeah. He is leaving us. He's heading to Wyoming to get a job.
He's taking a real job. He started off here as just a little. They grow up so fast.
They grow up so fast.
He was an intern here at PHNX, and now he's taking a real life journalism job.
Yeah. David, where can the people follow you on Twitter?
At David_Rodish.
Hell yeah. Follow him at David_Rodish to see what he's doing
to Wyoming. The wide world of Wyoming and joining the journalism world. So
yeah.
Congratulations,
Big
David.
J Journal over there. But yeah, that's all we have for.
Like we've already sent. We're like producers just.
Yeah, we have Slindy up in Eugene. You're gonna have
your head now.
David in Wyoming, yeah. Gillette, Wyoming, right? Yeah, Gillette, Wyoming. The best a man can get. All right.
Okay.
Did I do a good job?
You're outstanding.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Nice job, DP.
I just needed some affirmation. All right, but
Hey. Nice job with the sound effects. Look at that, David.
Tears running down my face. The roses are flying.
You survived. You made it. I think you did an outstanding job.
I did. Next time we do one of these post-game shows, I'll be back in my rightful place behind the Mac. Leo will be right in a rightful place in front of the camera. But that's all for tonight.
That's all. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you. Like I said, tomorrow there'll be an audio episode, but the next time we'll see you live will be
How does Leah sign off?
Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody.